you're on now.
Okay. There we go. We got Jim.
Negative, nothing further. Just take Tammy in the corner. That's a direct order. Do it now.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. We're Roll Call, Black, White, and Blue for Better Relations. Today is Thursday, July the 3rd, 2025. I'm here with a few of my friends, Jerry, Will, D, Rich, and Jim. As you see, many of the other ones are celebrating the 4th of July early. We're praying for them. We're praying that you would also have a wonderful, wonderful 4th of July. Be safe. Be safe out there. I know fireworks are all out there, but be careful out there. Tomorrow is a great day, but let's have a moment of silence, and then we'll have the disclaimer coming from Will, and then we'll have the statement of purpose coming from Rich, who just joined us, as well, and Jim, who just joined us.
Yeah, some days I hear that and I swear somebody cutting onions.
Yep. It's on you, Will.
Okay. Welcome, everyone. We are Roll Call, Black, White, and Blue for Better Relations. Please note the comments and expressed concerns made by members of the Roll Call, Black, White, and Blue for Better Relations, herein called Roll Call Crew panel, are the opinions of the individual and not offered or intended to be legal advice, recommendations, or suggestions for listeners and or observers. This panel may display graphic videos or photographs that are integral to or spark discussion. These videos or photographs are not intended to offend any viewer or listener. A panel member will give notice to the audience as to its nature prior to displaying any graphic or sensitive video or photograph. Any graphic content displayed during the panel discussion has been obtained and shared from public social media platforms and is not the property of Roll Call. The language used by members of Roll Call and guests is spontaneous, sometimes colorful. It is uncensored and not intended to offend the audience, but more so to help them understand that this isn't just about information, but about our passion for helping our audience better understand both sides of the coin.
Thank you, Will. Rich?
Good afternoon, everyone. We're Roll Call Black, White, and Blue for Better Relations. We're a pro-law enforcement group. We're for equitable policing. We're against racism, and Black Lives Matter. Thank you. Thank you for being here with us. If you have any questions, you're here live, just come up and we'll try to address those. Thank you.
Thank you, Will and Rich. All right. Listen, before we go forward, let me just say thank you, D. D is my on-point guy. Listen, I was out taking care of business on my phone. I talked to D. D got on early, so I can transfer some information to him. He can get this thing going. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. But then to the rest of the panel, thank you for being here as well. We need you. All voices matter. Just like Black Lives Matter, all voices matter. We need your voices. Even yours, Jerry, even though you don't feel like it is, but it is needed. All right. We're praying for Jamel and Sharon, JT and Orlando, Rich and Isabel, Cheech and Anna. We're also praying for Mark Matthews, and I understand Dawn's grandmother is hospitalized. Praying for my wife. My wife just got a call from her doctor, her mother's doctor, to take her to the family doctor right away or to the hospital. So she's getting ready. She's in the process of getting that done right now. So I'm praying for her and her mother. Prayer for Dave Kennard, who'll be celebrating as a national holiday. Tomorrow is not only 4th of July, but tomorrow is a national holiday as Dave's birthday. He's gonna be 25 all over again. Happy birthday, Dave. I believe that's all I have. I've been running and trying to take care of some stuff and then take care of my mother with some situations as well. And I'm over here in a little tight right now myself, but we're here. And I know D's got stuff set up for us, and we're gonna go with that, D. I don't know what it is. Now, did you and Will talk about what we got set up?
We all talk. We got some stuff going.
All right, then Will, you want to lead today?
Let's rock with it.
Let's rock with it. Roll with it. You ready, Will?
Let's do it.
All right. Let me just say hey to Donald Coleman. I see him in the chat. Sylvia Butler.
Yo, we're cooking my grits, coach.
She is in that. As you come on, we'll try to give you a shout out.
Beverly, Carlston, Wells.
Oh yeah, I can't see those. Okay, good help me because I can't see them.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna go. We're gonna start out in New York City. Had every year they have a Pride March in New York City, and those of you that don't know, NYPD has a goal. It's a gay organization action league, I think, and they got a little disagreement over their uniforms. So let's take a look.
Head of one of the largest Pride celebrations in the world. New York City's top cop is upping the ante, though, in her disagreement with organizers of New York City's Pride March. Commissioner Jessica Tisch says she's going to protest tomorrow's march over a policy she says discriminates against LGBTQ officers. Derek Waller has the latest from Greenwich Village.
And Lisa, this is actually the second day in a row that Commissioner Tisch has called out march organizers.
I have been very clear with Heritage of Pride that this exclusion is unacceptable.
That was Friday, and now in a new letter to organizers, Tisch writes, the decision to ban the Gay Officers Action League from the Pride Parade is a disgrace to the spirit of Pride. Gay, lesbian, and transgender officers had marched proudly in uniform for decades. But in 2021, Heritage of Pride banned uniformed officers. Now, this year, co-chair Kaz Alexander tells me they're only banning weapons.
You don't necessarily need to show up in uniform. We invite Gold to be a part of the march, just not with weapons.
In her letter, Tisch called that a PR stunt, and that Heritage of Pride has long understood that as a matter of officer safety and public safety, cops cannot wear their uniforms without their service weapons. Still, thousands of armed officers will line the march route, which starts on 5th Avenue in the Flatiron District, before snaking its way through Greenwich Village and past the Stonewall Inn, where Pride began 56 years ago and where there was music in the street tonight. Dana and Juanita from Weehawken are celebrating 19 years together.
To be able to hold her hand and celebrate 19 years and know that this is my person and with everybody else, it's a wonderful feeling.
And this year's March theme, Rise Up, Pride and Protest. And we're already seeing a little bit of that here at the Stonewall National Monument. These pink and blue trans pride flags are not a part of the official installation. These were added in protest by members of the community.
We're living in very fragile times, and it's very important. It doesn't matter the group. You could be next. So it's very important that we protect one another.
And as you can see, the barricades already in place, so expect heavy security, enormous crowds, and street closures on Sunday. Reporting from Greenwich Village, Derek Waller, CBS News, New York.
Sought to be interesting. Jim, let's get into it.
Yeah, it's hard for me to believe that this organization would prevent those officers from marching. It wasn't long ago they weren't allowed to march at all. There was no gay pride parade. I mean, what did they forget? I mean, this is incredible. I mean, officers' uniform, yeah, there is a weapon because it's part of their uniform. I'm really glad to see the PC and NYPD stand up for that group. And I do agree, it's some kind of a stunt, but it's going to backfire on them. It's going to backfire on them because supporters of the gay pride movement and parade and all are going to start turning their back if they start picking and choosing who could march with them. So kind of disgusted with that.
I feel you on that. It's and I'm sure we're going to touch more on it. But D, I see your hands up. What are your thoughts, my brother?
It just seems to me that the organization that's so for inclusion and is excluding. Am I the only one that sees that? Are you kidding me? Wait a minute. They can line the parade route, can protect you. They can make sure nobody can hamper your parade, but you can't march
and participate.
And oh, wait a minute. You can march in uniform
without your weapons,
but you can't carry everything that goes along with your uniform. We're in the twilight zone here, right? It's and this group. When I saw this report and I saw this group doing it, I said, "What?
Right.
That goes against everything that group is supposed to stand for. You're supposed to be included. You want to be included, so you can't. I don't know. I think we're in an age where it's a clown world. Everything is upside down. So sometimes, I don't know, I'm watching 4 different newses right now and you find yourself going, what? It kind of makes no sense. And it's scary to me because I remember, maybe you guys remember a world where things made sense, where I didn't agree with it. I didn't like it. It didn't benefit me, but there was some semblance of right and wrong. Now it's just
you can follow the logic behind it.
Now it's just ridiculously. Where's my sound bite?
D, that's why you're our tech guy right there, because you keep it live. You keep it live. Rev, what's on your mind?
Yeah, well, you guys know how I feel about it. I'm not in agreement with it at all anyway. But I agree with everything that was just said, because if you are a group of inclusion, when do you start excluding?
Excluding, yeah.
So for that reason alone, I say that the goal group of the NYPD should have been able to march. Dee said it very well. I mean, the police officers lined up down the whole parade, in uniform with guns. Some out of uniform, or plain clothes, still with guns. You know how many guns was out there that day? Well, it didn't make sense. And Jim always said, when you start excluding one group, it's going to come to the other groups. And he's been saying that from day zero. So I do agree with that. When you do that, it is a trickle down effect. I'm good, Will.
Okay. Mark, you're up.
Good afternoon, everybody. I just look at it as another strike against law enforcement. How are you going to exclude the group that's legally carrying guns? And if something jumps off, they're going to be the first ones to start saving people. But, even nowadays, you go into doctor's offices and other buildings, and they're telling you, oh, you can't bring your gun. You can't bring your gun. It's just a movement, and it's pointed toward the wrong people. You want to take guns off the street for people who are not allowed to carry guns. But those, especially who are law enforcement or former law enforcement, who know the liability and understand it, those are the ones you want carrying guns in case something jumps off. So, I agree with Jim, sooner or later, they're going to pay for it.
You all know I worked in a relatively small, well, not relatively, I worked in a small agency. However, the climate and culture overwhelmingly had a lot of inclusion for the LGBTQ community. And the irony is, here they are trying to dictate what we're supposed to do to protect them when they spent so many years advocating for a profession to be more inclusive of that segment of the population among their ranks. So now here we are holding up these officers who not only are officers, but they're also a part of the LGBTQ community. We've merged the best of both in regards to that. And they want to say, okay, well, you're a part of us, but now we get to start controlling some things about how you can be a part of us. And like everyone was saying, the math ain't mathing on that. Dee, what's your thoughts on that?
I just had a quick comment. Working a few security details that have come up late. They're requesting that close personal protection agents or people, bodyguards that are going to protect you, not bring their firearm. Now,
Really?
I sit with you for a minute. There's a request being made that you protect me here in New York City against all the things that may hurt me. But you know what? We don't want you to carry a gun. Okay. And we've spoken many times about the gun not being a tool of compliance. But let me share something with you. It's a just in case. Just in case. 99.9% of the things you don't even know is there. You won't even know it's there. You won't even see it. You don't even know there's a gun. But in that 1/10 of 1% where you may need to use it, you gotta have it. You gotta have it. And I would challenge anybody that if somebody were to open up, now remember all of the shootings that we've had. Think of the first, not everybody's into gun control. Okay, Jim, I'm not getting on you, Jim. But the first thing people say, think about it. Well, when were the police there? Why didn't they get there? And why didn't they address the issue?
Right.
How are you going to address the issue without a firearm?
You can't stop the threat.
No.
You're going to talk them out of doing what they were about to do. You're going to talk them out of it. That's what you're going to do. You're going to talk them out of it. Tongue lash them.
The fact that everybody thinks that every situation can be verbally de-escalated.
Ridiculous.
That's the way a lot of people see it. And I understand overwhelmingly, I'd agree with them. If we observe all of our training, we observe the defensive training as well as aware of our offensive if things go to shit. But if we observe our defensive posture and stay in places of cover and concealment and be able to give ourselves an opportunity to de-escalate, yes, I agree overwhelmingly that the quality of officers that do this job have that capacity and that desire to do so. But like you said, we carry the tools that we carry just in case. And we've seen enough just in case, and they probably are going to have even more just in case. You all know I'm from North Carolina. Y'all heard me mention a couple of weeks ago. They just basically are getting ready to do away. The governor has vetoed it, but they'll probably override. They get ready to do away with any prerequisite requirements for concealed carry in this state. So it's one thing to have that many more guns unknown on the street. I can tell you all, the color of the skin that I'm in gives me even greater pause if I come across an officer and I'm carrying. He doesn't even have the benefit of being able to run my name in the database to see that I got a concealed carry permit. Mark, what's on your mind?
Question for D. So are they paying less because they are getting unarmed security as opposed to normally if it's armed security, then the pay is more?
Yeah, that used to be. Now they want you to jump all the hoops, climb all the buildings, leap all the bounds, but don't bring your gun. And it begs to differ. If you're met with that, how do I address that threat, that issue?
Yeah, what are their expectations?
For you to handle it?
What I think it is, it's not an expectation. It's a mindset of look at what they did with the parade. It's foolishness, right? So I'm going to say, all right, I don't want the people marching in the parade to have guns, but I need the people who line the parade, which are going to be more people in the parade. Do we understand this? In order to do a parade in New York City, you're talking about 2,000 or 3,000 law enforcement officers of all different agencies. And as I think Don said it, they're undercover. Everybody, and you never see a gun pulled out, nobody, but it's a part of the uniform for a reason. I think people don't understand that. Security officers have it for a reason. And it's not for compliance, it's not to threaten.
It's deterrent.
If that 1/10 of 1%, you need it, you got to have it. You can't go home and get it. But the pay is no different now. It's a mindset. It's it's a big and I'm not bragging. It's big money people, and you want to have the conversation. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? But their mindset is, well, this fits into a narrative, a conversation. Most people want to have these narratives and conversation without boots on the ground. Instead of pulling one of us in the room that having boots on the ground, that will say, you're out of your mind. It's very simply, no disrespect, you're out of your mind. But people in the room, well, we don't really need it. We haven't had any problems yet until we have the problem. And then they're going to look at you and say, why didn't you figure out? Why didn't you?
Listen, I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna come right to you, Rich. But again, I have to give reference where I was at. We had a situation where a citizen was at odds with our elected officials at the town board meeting and had already done veiled and direct threats towards them. So much so that they were uncomfortable with him coming back to the meeting because the situation hadn't been resolved yet. They wanted us there, but they did not want us in the building. They told us to stay outside in the car. And if they needed us, then they let us know. Now, am I the only? I know I'm not the only one here that's thinking to myself, that's got to be the dumbest thing I've ever heard. When you're telling me that this person has already delivered threats to you because of this issue that you all got going on, and you want to keep your one deterrent between them, they're not being checked going in, there's no screening, no nothing. And your one protection between you and this person deciding that they want to start hurting people, you got us sitting out in the car.
And I'm going to call you to come in to help me. I'm going to call you. After he done pulled his gun out and he's shooting people up, I'm going to call you and say, come help me. Sorry.
Hands.
I know.
Hands.
No,
hands.
I know.
I got you because you're disturbed. You're killing them.
Rich, drop something for us, man.
You know, it's really comical how things are just turning overall. And my thing is this. You know, you don't want to bring a knife to a gunfight, right? So we have to one up on whatever weapons out there. But can you imagine the scenario where the assailant has a knife and then the good guys have a knife, and then the people that are watching in awe and horrified are got to watch, hoping that the good guy wins with the knife as they're stabbing each other? I mean, is that crazy to even think about? You know, it's always force plus one with us, and you're gonna limit officers having a weapon. It just seems totally asinine to me. And you know, you think about the things that can go wrong and how fast they can go wrong. And then when you talk about automatic weapons, you know, come on. You know what I mean? Even we're even outgunned when people have, you know, these high powered automatic weapons. You know, they have the long guns. If we're having a handgun, we're on the negative side of the gunfight. So imagine not having a weapon, having a gun to address the threat. It's just really asinine. And when, you know, it was a day and age where, you know, like the Republicans were deficit hawk, you know, financially, and now they're just giving that up and ceded to a criminal who's in office being corrupt and selling watches and bossed, you know, Bibles, and just a crazy world we live in when stuff doesn't make sense. Supreme Court doesn't protect us. They're in the bag with the criminal. It's just such a day and age of you sit back and go, what happened to us as a country? We're about to celebrate our birth of this country on July 4th. And you think about how far backwards we've gone. You know, when you stop and think how far backwards and the check and balances aren't there. You know, you got a criminal in office that can do whatever he wants, and the Supreme Court's given him more power to do as long as he's president. I mean, so it's a sad state of affairs overall, but people's mindsets we've just gone backwards, and IQs have dropped sharply. It's really disturbing for, you know, a person that's level-headed going, what is this? What's going on? I know I've gone to a big picture, but still it starts with stupid stuff like this. And then they want to blame us after the fact when stuff goes wrong. Oh, that plan we had didn't work. So that's all I got. Thanks.
Mark.
Oh, okay. I couldn't hear you.
I'm sorry.
You know, it's like Dee said, they need a reality check. You know, and Rich brought up knives. You know, officers aren't trained with knives. You know, if you want somebody who's proficient with knives, your two choices are a karate school or get somebody just coming out of jail. They'll be very much more proficient with weapons than any police officer will. So, you know what? You don't want us carrying guns? Go to the local karate place, go to the MMA place, get somebody there to do it. Or wait till somebody comes out of jail and get one of them. You know, they'll learn sooner or later that, oh, you know what, maybe we better rethink this.
That's an interesting point. I can only imagine that their belief is they feel like MMA is embedded within law enforcement, which gives us more tools to be able to deploy. And some of these folks think MMA is the end all to be all. It doesn't stop bullets. And a group that's trying to convince the country, the world, that they are the most vilified, the most highest targeted group out there. And they're going to be out in the open and possibly find themselves in the crosshairs of someone. And you don't want the people there protecting you with guns.
It only takes one gun. Only takes one. One gun.
Exactly. What you got, Rev?
No. I was doing this to remind everybody that, you know, please, if you can, use those hands. So, and one reason why is because whenever we talk over Mark, we cut him completely out.
Oh, okay. I'll do better. I'll do better.
Oh, you hosting? You the host. The host is hosting.
Yeah, I just wanted what Jerry asked. What's MMA? Mixed martial arts. Is she listening? She asked the question. I just wanted.
I was getting ready to
mixed martial arts.
So we got a couple of comments on here. Renee Henderson is saying, so you are now security guards.
Flashlight
In
cops.
effect. In effect. I think the
Professional
beauty-
witnesses.
Yeah, good witnesses. I'll observe from cover. But I would imagine that, like the commissioner said, anybody that's going to be out there representing the department, it'd be a different story. You've been plain clothes. But the commissioner says if you're going to be out there, then you're going to have all of your equipment, because if you're in uniform, you might be called to act right then and there. And you can't say, well, let me go back to my car and get my duty weapon or whatever. It doesn't work that way. Rev.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that that really only goes into when you're doing like your second job or you're doing security. Then you're really just a security guard. You're not really an off-duty police officer doing work. But it's just it's ridiculous. It's crazy. But yet and still, we have certain states you can go to. And I'm looking at Marcus' statement. Marcus was talking about how many New Yorkers.
Just get ready to go into that one.
Yeah, how many New Yorkers have what was it? How many New Yorkers are unarmed? And we have to be honest, New York is a tight state when it comes down to getting a gun, even if you're a police officer. You know, it's tight getting a gun. But there are more probably illegal firearms out there than legal firearms. That's what I wanted to say. And you guys could address that however you want to. I just want to say that for Marcus that in New York it's hard to get a gun. I had a guy talk to me just the other day in the gym. He said, man, I've been waiting over a year trying to get my license for a gun. And, you know, and he's a business owner. He's a person that you'd be like, you know, he needs a gun. But he's going through, he's like, I'm just trying to find someone that knows somebody who's going to help me get my gun. I said, not in, and he said Nassau County, not in Nassau County. You know, like we do, the rules are there for the people that will follow them. Yep.
The ones that we encounter are the ones that are going to go left of the rules, find the end around. They're going to acquire a gun without going through that process, which means chances are they got a gun, not just to say I got a gun, they probably mean to do something with it. Hence our presence being there. But Marcus went on to say the only ones marching in the parade with the gun are the police, and that don't seem right. Well, I would tell you that if you talk to LGBTQ community people and they will be honest about their fear of retribution for their life choice and their fear for their safety, they would probably say otherwise. D, what you got?
I just wanted to address something really quick. We're talking about here in New York City, having worked with ATF for about 6 years. If people in New York City are getting guns, it's not like everywhere else in the country, right? If you're getting a gun in New York City, you ain't looking to do nothing good with it. The rules are harder here, but let's be honest, not for law-abiding people that have a reason to have it.
That's it.
It's not. There are a lot of hurdles. If you got things in your background, that's a hurdle you got to jump. But for law-abiding people, business owners, people that have a legitimate reason to have a carry permit, it's not a difficult process. It might take some time because things have to be verified, but it's not difficult. Let's be clear. If you're here in New York City and you have an illegal gun or you're buying an illegal gun, you ain't looking to do nothing good with it. You're not just looking to protect yourself, or you're looking to protect your jewelry or your store. If you are going through the hooks and bounds to get yourself an illegal gun, you're looking to do something bad with it. And I need that to be understood, because we have this, because I can carry easy in, I'm just going to say it, I don't know if that's true, in North Carolina. Yeah, the rules are different in North Carolina, but the rules are here, so you have to jump those hurdles.
Right.
So if there are hurdles to jump, don't be mad at the hurdles, because you put the hurdles up.
Yeah.
Don't be mad at the hurdles. But because we're here and we're such a densely populated place, that's why the rules are in existence. And this is the answer to Marcus. If you don't want the police to have guns, think about what you said. I heard that comment. and my heart broke a little bit. So police are the only ones that have guns. Yeah. What? I'm advocating for people who are not legally able to carry to have guns, and I don't want the people who are supposed to have them. I'm going back to my sound effect again. Okay. Okay.
Ty, what's on your mind, man?
$200 in almost any corner in New York, you can buy a gun. Especially in Brooklyn and Queens. Well, the old Brooklyn. In Hempstead, you can buy a gun on Terrace Avenue for $250 easily. I asked the right person. So people who want a gun illegally can get it. And as they said in New York, if you're like D just said, if you're a legal gun, if you're a legal business with a clean background, you can get a gun fairly reasonably, but it'll take you a long period of time to get it. A lot of vetting cycles you have to go through in order to get it, but you can get one. The problem arises when you have anything in your background. It's a serious stop sign for the state of New York. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure what Marcus is trying to say. I usually can't tell what he's trying to say, but it doesn't make sense what he said. I know that much. That's it.
It like they say, it's viewership. There's no such thing as bad publicity. So we'll rock with it. Mark, what's on your mind?
Yeah, in regards to what Mark has said. So, don't lose sight that the gun is part of the uniform. So if the officers are in uniform, then you're supposed to wear the gun. And that's just the bottom line. If it's fireman and the guy's got an axe and that's part of his thing, then that's what he wears. If he's a plumber, he's got a tool. If it's a carpenter, he's got a hammer. The gun is just a tool for us, and it's part of our uniform. It's not a luxury. It's not like, oh, look at me, I'm the baddest because I got this gun. It's part of the uniform. It's so ridiculous that they're even questioning that. If you don't want them to march, then just say it. But don't hide behind the gun. To me, it's just a moronic argument.
And I totally agree with you. I'm glad that the commissioner is standing on business and there's a positive representation of that group within their department, and they're still out there committed, doing the job, protecting and serving all the way around without bias. So I'm feeling that all the way around. Did we beat this horse pretty good and we ready to move on to the next one? D, what's up?
All right, our next video is going to take us to Providence, Rhode Island. We are all advocates here of police being held to a higher standard. If it's bad for somebody to do something, it's really, really, really bad for a police officer. Let's go to Providence and see what's going on there.
Former Providence police officers facing several drug charges after Pawtucket police say she was arrested in a narcotics bus this morning.
Kate Wilkinson joins us now live in studio with new details we just learned from police.
Yeah, Pawtucket police say it was a months-long investigation that led to the arrest of 25-year-old Destiny Vieira. Among the multiple drug charges she faces, she's accused of selling or manufacturing in the area of a school.
Just last September, Destiny Vieira took an oath to protect the city of Providence. Now Pawtucket police say she has been charged in a narcotics investigation.
Based on the seriousness of the allegations and the standards that we uphold in the Providence Police Department, this individual will not be retained by the Providence Police.
Providence Police Chief Colonel Oscar Perez says because Vieira has been on the force for less than a year, she was only a probationary officer. According to the city of Providence, her salary at the time of her arrest was around $73,000. So
when you see a young person that had the opportunity of a lifetime to make a difference, and unfortunately, because of certain judgment judgments that they make. It taints the work.
Pawtucket police say Vieira was arrested in the early hours of this morning alongside 24-year-old Jalen Lopez of Pawtucket. Both are facing multiple drug dealing and manufacturing charges. Among the accusations, that this was happening in or around a school. Pawtucket police did not immediately provide where the drug bust occurred.
It's upsetting, but I'll tell you that it does not define the dedicated work of the men and women of the Providence Police Department.
Both suspects are scheduled to be arraigned by a bail commissioner tomorrow. Live in the studio, Kate Wilkinson, 12 News.
Not even a year on the job. D, I got a feeling you get ready to say what I'm thinking.
Nah, I just wanted to. We talked in the last one. This was a nice little segue. The hurdles. The hurdles. We all get mad at background checks and why is it so hard for me and woe is me, and nobody was a proponent of that more than me. If I tell you what I had to go through to become a New York State trooper, Jesus Christ. You know, come on, fellas. Look, I'm a good guy. But they didn't believe that, and I had to jump through the hurdles. Talked about the hurdles to own a gun, the hurdles to become a police officer. And we go back into a person's background to 10 years old. Why is that? You know, you got to go back 10 years. Because what happens is there are things we all bring along with our lives. Most of us, and most of us can tell you, we had to let go of some folk, right? We had to let go of some family. I had to let go of some loves and loved ones when I made this decision. They still mad at me today. Oh, today, you know, I couldn't do my job and have you in my orbit only because my job puts me in close proximity to things that I know you can't handle, right? Like I can't be around you and I gotta, you know, we all have those family members. Maybe it's just me, maybe it's just my family. I'm not gonna blame nobody else, but family members that, you know, you gotta lock your stuff up. Well, I can't bring them around y'all. Yeah, I can't bring them to Don's house. I love this guy, but I gotta love him from afar. And I'm saying,
that's right, Don.
we whine and we cry about they looking into it's. There's a reason so that this doesn't happen, right? If we cut corners and we don't put those hurdles up for these people to jump, now they get the job, and all of us know you can't jaywalk within a certain amount in the school. Anything you do, the level is risen when it's near a school. My resource officers, come on, Don, help me. Anything you do is magnified. You're a law enforcement officer. You should know that. Yep. You should know. I know where every school is. There's a school. 20, there's another one down the school, hit the brakes. Why? Because now there's cameras, but you gotta know where the schools are. And when we're taking shortcuts in the background and we're getting people that can't get over those hurdles, these are the things that happen. They're not strong enough to tell their family members or the boyfriend or the girlfriend or the auntie or the uncle or the cousin. We all got them. You can't. When I see you, I leave all my stuff home and I come to the neighborhood to see you. Why do you do that? Because I can't have you around this part of my life. We gotta understand that the hurdles are there for a reason. And if we decide to take shortcuts, we're going to get short results.
Ty.
So to me, it's very simple with this young lady. The police department either do one or two things. Either they hire a criminal or they hire a person who has very poor decision-making abilities, and both are very bad in police work. Dangerous. So the background check sucked, like D Spoon said. They did a 6-month check, and it should have been 6 years, because you don't just wake up on a Tuesday morning after getting a $73,000 a year job. So you know what? I think I'm gonna make drugs this week. It's something that they miss. You know what I'm saying, D? Am I crazy, D School?
Right.
Does that make sense? I'm right. So they missed her. They missed that part of her character. They missed that part of it. So,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, Donald? Either she's a criminal, either they hired a criminal or they hired a person who has very poor decision-making ability. And both are very bad in police world. Because you don't do, like I just said a minute ago, you don't wake up, you know, you're a good cop for 8 months and 2 days. You know what? I got an idea. You know what I mean? That's how I go. So they missed that one. That's sad.
It would be really interesting to know more details about how that situation developed, what the connection, specific connection is with the other young man that they put into the picture, what his background is, and if there was ever, back to the background check, if there was a connection that it should have made. Ty, you got another quick point to make.
And that's where the decision making is. Like Dee said, you know how many people I had to cut out of my life when I raised my right hand? How many family members I had to stop visiting? I had to stop. I had to temper their phone calls and their messages to me. A couple of them came to the precinct. Yo, man, don't you ever come to this precinct again, ever. You know where I live. You go to my house and knock on my door. Hope I ain't. Don't come to the precinct. So my colleagues are there, my peers are there, my supervisor, and the daggone mayor was in the same building. The mayor, if they know you on the corner and you my cousin, you walk in the door asking for me. They're gonna look at me with a side eye. I can't have Donald and them worried about them guys. Well, not Donald. Donald don't be better than most of them, but I can't have those other fair-skinned cops looking at me like, yo, man, you know what I mean, Jim? They already think we criminals. If my cousin walked in, they locked up 5 months ago. Yo, Ty, man, what's up? Look at Jim laughing at me. That's all I got.
Guilty by association piece, when somebody mentioned it earlier, how it's raise a whole nother level if we're found with our hand in the cookie jar or doing something we don't have any business doing. And the sad thing is it cuts both ways, whether it's somebody from our private life that's running left of the law, or if it's somebody that's a brother or sister in blue and they decide they want to shade the lines and we linked up with them and our family network in blue. So, you got to watch that on both sides of the coin. Mark.
Yeah, I agree with what Ty said, and you basically took my thunder. Not everybody that takes that job is looking to protect and serve. The only ones that they're looking to serve is themselves. And that be weaned out. And it can't always be caught through the hurdles that Dee spoke about. Sometimes they get through the cracks, just like anything. You can have judges that get through the cracks and they got, they're on the wrong side. So it happens in not just police departments. Don't get it twisted. It happens in every type of job. They'll get through the cracks. They'll get what they can out of it. And like I said, they're not looking to protect and serve. A lot of gang members will even have their girlfriends join Department of Motor Vehicle.
Oh, yes, sir, boy.
So they can get access to plates. That's a very powerful thing. They get your plate. They know where you live. They can get all kind of information. So they get their girlfriends to do it. Or, they'll get some guy, a newbie, maybe a guy who won't cut it hanging and banging in that gang world because they're smart. But they'll say, you know what, we're going to use you another way. Get this job and then get in, keep your nose clean, and then we'll let you know what you can do for us. The Hells Angels in Hempstead, they had attorneys that were part of them. So, you tell me.
Yeah, absolutely. Dee, you got to get your notice ready because Marcus dropped the gem for us. He says it's easier to run for president. And
That's where I was going. That's exactly where I was going.
Hey. He dropped the gem on us.
Marcus, look, when you're right, you're right. Marcus, when you're right, you're right. And I'm going to be the proponent of Marcus right now.
Absolutely.
If I did not all the stuff, 0.1% of what our president does, I couldn't have become a New York State trooper. I definitely couldn't have become a private investigator because that's question number one. I want you to think about that. I couldn't do anything. I probably wouldn't be on this panel if I did 0.1%. So you are absolutely right. And that's why we say the world is upside down. It's a clown world where when I was doing backgrounds, Ty left, but when I was doing backgrounds, a person would have a crime. Oh, you got to go. The person would have a criminal family member. Oh, you got to go. And they didn't know, oh, but this is my cousin. You got to go. Because you have so much sensitive information walking through you guys' precinct. They're going to see what the plainclothes guys are doing, or the kind of guys are doing. You got all that information. You can't take that back home to a convict, a ex-con. You can't take that back home to him, where everybody's going to be, what they're wearing. Come on, guys, what the color of the day is. I'm going to help you with that, Jerry. Don't worry. What the color of the day is. You know, things that are say all of that simple stuff is sensitive information. The 10 code in the radio, the other codes that we know about, that's stuff that saves our lives. So if you have to X those people out of your lives, that's what I was talking about. You had to be squeaky clean. And I know it was a high bar to jump, but as I became a part of the training, part of the field training, a part of the supervisory out in the field, I got it. Because you can't have, what'd you say, Ty? Bad decision makers.
Right.
It's not just bad, it's dangerous. We can't have convict, it's dangerous to each one of us working. If that guy I'm doing his background with or training can't sit next to me in my car at my most vulnerable time, he can't ride next to you, Will. He can't ride with you, Jerry. He can't. If he can't sit next to me and be able to protect you, he can't. So I'm hoping in the next few years we're able to right this ship, because it's hard for the ship to run upside down. If anybody can help me, I'm not a boat guy, but it's kind of hard for the ship to keep going upside down the way it is. At some point, we got to right the ship. Why? Because we got to breathe and we're going to die. It's very simple.
Yep. Ty, you had your finger up there?
To Dee's point, we can almost afford a bit of ignorance more than bad decision making.
I'll take it.
If you don't know, we'll teach you how to do it. But if you don't know how to discern, have any discernment with your decision making, that is more dangerous than not knowing what to do, in my humble opinion. If I'm
I'll
wrong,
take
correct me.
ignorance for 500, Ty.
All day, baby. I can teach you how to do it. Just get out my daggone way. You know what I mean? All right, guys. That's all I say. Sorry.
Donald Coleman said something real interesting. He says, I knew a friend who was on the job but left to be a pimp and hustler because he said he could make more money. And think about how much more money he could make having spent any amount of time on the job learning how we move and how we operate, especially if he was on the job in an area that he's going to be doing his other hustle. So yeah, Donald, you're right on. Oh, and by the way, D, Marcus wants to know if he's got your vote.
Let me just say one real thing quick. He said he could make a lot of money being a pimp, and I knew somebody that actually did that up in Buffalo. He was having more fun being. But if that's the conversation you're having, you're in the wrong place. This job for everybody here, the money ended up being nice, and I like what the money has done around here. I do like that, but that wasn't the conversation. That was never the conversation. How much money you made? Everybody I arrested probably made more money than me, but that wasn't a conversation I had. I had a job to do. That's all I wanted to say.
We got a comment from Renee Henderson, and you up north folks. Did anyone see that NYPD is taking candidates 20 years old with application fee waived? Now I know, and to the best of my knowledge, what you got, Rev?
I didn't see that, but I know Derek got hired at 20 years old.
It's always been that way. Always.
Yeah.
You can take at 20.
Yeah, but no, he got hired at 20.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You can go through the academy, but you can't get sworn
Mark
until
too.
you're 21. So let's say, for instance,
no, Derek was hired at 20 years old.
Wow. So was I.
And so was Mark. That was that era they got hired at 20. Wow. I remember that. Now I had to be 21.
New York City Transit took us at age of 20. I was like only a month into my 20s, and transit took me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's surprising, isn't it?
So were you actually on the street at 20?
Yeah.
Wow.
You were a police officer?
Yeah, with the gun after 6 months.
Yeah, you were a police officer.
So you hadn't turned 21 after that before that 6 months was up?
Nope.
Wow.
I told you, Derek too.
Yeah.
Now Derek and I are best friends, but that wasn't a rule for me. That was a rule for him, though. He came on 3 years before I came on, but that was a rule for him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Y'all, Marcus is on a roll. He says no pension for a pimp. Marcus is on a roll, y'all. And Donald had another comment. He said, I had a friend of mine who was on the job and used to come and work out with me and trust me to lock his gun up in my locker. And then you all know.
Decision making. Ty, where you at, Ty?
That wasn't me.
What wasn't me either, Donald.
It wasn't me.
What about decision making? That's a bad decision.
It wasn't me, baby.
Wow.
Oh man. Any more for the gallery?
Well, they changed the rules when they feel it fits the department or the agency and the city you work for. Because it used to be here in California that you had to do 20 years of law enforcement and be age 50 to retire. And then I wound up retiring at 49 and got 3 extra years of service credit for early retirement. So when they changed the rules to benefit them, and I guess bringing guys on at 20 helped with the recruiting and filling positions. So that's how it goes on forward end and the back end.
Anything else on this topic? Here we go, Mark.
Yeah, I just want to say that when I got on, there wasn't much drama with young officers getting jammed up. Few years after that, though, then all of a sudden they started kind of losing their minds, and then they started to change and up the age. But this was back in '82 that I got hired, and it was 20. But like I said, you didn't hear a lot about young cops getting jammed up. I think we were too afraid to get jammed up. It was hard enough to get the job.
Yes.
Definitely want to lose it.
Yeah.
But then, guys who hung out at the bars, like my dad was law enforcement, so he kind of kept me in check. But guys that didn't have that check system, I had an older brother, I had 2 older brothers actually. Only one was on the job at the time. So they would keep you in check and you see what to do and what not to do. But if you don't have that guidance and, that somebody to direct you, it's a powerful job and it can be misused, as we see. That's why we're here. But don't get it twisted. There's more officers doing the right thing than there are officers doing the wrong thing. So even though we're on here and the news hammers it, it's a selection of a bad group of people, but it doesn't really demonstrate the overall feeling of cops. Everybody on here, I would trust, and if I had to meet them, ask them for help, I would have no problem. Not because I've known them forever, but it's just their character. And sometimes you can just see somebody's character, just like you go into any other job. You can go into any other. You go to a doctor and you see a doctor's a little fugazi. On to the next doctor.
Mm-hmm.
So, we have to be vigilant.
Yeah.
I just want to ditto what Mark says, because I feel the same way even about you guys. Now, Will, you and I, we haven't met in person. I've seen you on here for over a year. I think I know enough about you that I could trust you with certain things. Same with Dee. Now, Dee and I have known each other for a lot of years through the police department, but we didn't really know each other. We just knew that we were both law enforcement and we played against each other in basketball. But immediately I trusted him. Even when Rich came on too. I mean, believe me, let me just say this. you wouldn't be on here if I didn't trust you. let me start with that, because I wanted people on here that not would say what I would say, but people that I knew that would say things from the heart that would be trustworthy, for those who are listening. So everyone on here, Jerry, everyone on here, I trust you to a certain limit. I trust you. Now, believe me, I don't trust everybody all the way out. Believe me. So, but I trust you guys well enough that you will get on this show and you will give out information that's going to be helpful to those who are listening. And regardless of your color. Regardless of your color, because when we first started, we had John DiOrio on with us as well. I've asked another Spanish guy to come on, but he got a little intimidated, so he didn't do it. So we had other guys as well. So I don't want anyone to think that this is I went for all black officers. No, but a lot of these black officers I worked with, and I knew their character.
Mark, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I just want to jump in on what Don said, since you brought it up. It's a little off topic of what we were talking about, but directly with what he was just talking about, which is we got this Zoom started to help the public understand law enforcement and kind of bridge the gap. But what you guys don't know, especially Jim and John, Don mentioned John and the Spanish officer, we all took a lot of heat and we all lost friends, or people who we thought were friends, because we decided to step up, step out, and talk.
Right.
And call a spade, so to speak. And, it was bigger steps, I would say, for the white officers, because they had to overcome a lot more than we did. Let's call it what it is.
That's right.
They lost a lot of good friends and neighbors, whoever, and I can call my relatives and, hey, I'm on the Zoom, go check it out, and just send it. Not every white officer on here can do that. You're going to lose, family members, because you know how they are. It doesn't stop you from feeling the way you're doing and fighting for the cause, but you just keep the family on one side and you keep the people who think like you on the other side, and Jim, John, they back us up, Teach, yes. but Jim stands up, and he's always there for us, so he's overcome some of the biggest hurdles, and he's been fighting ever since, for the right thing. And it's not just because he likes us. Okay, in his heart, he's stepping up for what he thinks is right in his heart.
Yeah.
And that's important.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
Yes, sir,
I'd like to add to that as well, because Mark, you really said it all. But Jim, man, you don't know how much we appreciate you stepping up and saying what you have to say. And you've taken a hit also. We are totally aware that you've taken a hit. I've taken a hit, because some people say, well, you're supposed to be the reverend. Yeah, what that got to do with what we're talking about? And then you have Jerry, who was a civilian. Well, what are you doing talking about this stuff? You have no clue. See, every one of us has something that took a hit for that. This is the thing that really gets to people. People don't like their dirty laundry aired outside the household. So they're like, listen, y'all talking stuff that only we know, but y'all putting it out there. And they don't like that. So law enforcement does not like you talk about what goes on inside the house. Just like my mother said, whatever happens in this house stays in this house. So law enforcement the same way. Go ahead, Mom.
I gotta jump on a thing that Ty always says, kids us about. We know where the bodies are buried. Well, you know what? Jim knows where the bodies are buried.
More than we know.
He knows better than us, though.
Yes.
Because he's behind a veil that we couldn't get behind. So he knows where the bodies are, but yet, he stands fast.
So let me jump in here real quick, because the comments that are on our live,
don't forget Ty.
So
Just don't forget Ty.
No, I got Ty. But this has got to be addressed right here, right now.
All right.
Now, Marcus, we embrace you for the perspective that you have. We understand that we can be miles apart on some things, but just like you've heard and seen, there are times that we can do this. We are never going to try to forcefully drive a wedge between our relationship with you and you coming on and joining, because we respect and appreciate your presence. That being said, there is no token on this crew.
Oh, yeah, I just read that.
There is no token on this crew. It just so happens that Jim is the white person, but we have diversity on this crew. We would have even more diversity if the people that we extended invitations to join us would take a stand and join us. But it takes courage, as we pointed out. It takes courage for someone that doesn't look like us in this profession to empathize and sympathize with what it is we're trying to do. So we give Jim his flowers because we realize what he had to go through to do this and everybody else, but it's a different ballgame. It's like this whole reverse situation, us going into the community and they see us in the Black community, but they see us as blue. So I give mad respect to Jim, and all I ask, Marcus, is you give us as a crew the same respect with probably collectively well over 500 years of experience.
Or you're gonna push me to the button. I mean, listen, I've been asked to don't be so tolerant with some of the stuff that goes on, and I've been holding back. Everyone knows I've been holding back, but there's certain points I will not go past, and disrespect. And I'm glad you caught that, Will, because I'm talking about if you disrespect Jerry, Kyle, any of our women. And listen, I can handle mine. I'm good with that. But definitely we're not. You know, we got one Hispanic. Is he a token too? You understand what I'm saying? No, we don't have any tokens on here. We have people up here that speak their mind.
Am I a token?
That's right. And Mark. That's right. Let's go with Mark, Native American. Let's go with Mark as well. You know, is he a token? So listen, let's try to refrain from that with anybody on the panel. You know, we don't even talk like that to each other.
Right.
You know, I mean, we believe me, there's a bunch of jokesters on this one too. There's a whole bunch of people on here that can dish it out. They can take it, and some can't take it as much as others, but they can take it, and that's it. So please don't push one of their buttons. Don't worry about me, because I'm gonna come out on the soft side anyway. Because I'll have someone remind me. Don't you know you wear that cloth on Sunday? Be careful. And I also have my members watching this show as well. So
make no mistake, we got pit bulls too. We got pit bulls that are off the chain. Some of us is on. We got some that are off. So
listen, when Tyrone talked about it earlier, I'm sorry, Mark. Tyrone talked about it earlier. And D as well. Man, I got some family members that don't mind getting into the mud. You know, I mean, I got some family members that really don't mind, but they respect me enough to keep that away from me. So listen, that's enough for me. I'm done. You can hand it over to Mark and D, and I'm done.
Come with it, Mark.
I think D was first before me.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was me before D.
It was time.
It was me first.
Time.
So real fast, back to the sacrifice that we take on coming on this show for the last several years. People don't realize for 5 years. The problem is this: the people that don't want us doing this, the people that gave us flack for airing the laundry, they know they can't defame our word. They know that we're speaking from experience. They know that we're talking as police officers, not as civilians. So people who talk about what cops do hypothetically, they can discredit them as not being a police officer, but they can't discredit Donald. They can't discredit D. They can't discredit AC. Rich, me, or Lieutenant Cannon because they know for a fact we walk the walk. If we open our mouth and say we know something, they can't say it's not true. They only gaslight and divert, and that's the biggest problem that a lot of the officers who realized what we were doing was having with it. They had no way to wiggle out of it. They know we were telling the truth. And that's the biggest thing I found out. I gotta go, guys. I'm going on a boat trip. I'll see y'all later, all right?
Hey, Ty, have a wonderful 4th of July, man.
Hey, thank you. I love you guys. I'll see you next time, all right, brother? All right,
safe.
thanks a lot, man. Later, guys. Bye-bye.
Stay afloat.
All right. Oh, yeah.
I don't know either one. Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead. You can go.
Yeah, I just want to say, if you're looking for a title for Jim, it's not Token. Okay, it's Diamond.
Hello.
Because he took the pressure and he's still here. So if you want to call him something and maybe you can't figure out what, call him Diamond. Because he took a whole lot of pressure. He's taken more pressure than he's even shared with us.
Yeah.
And he's still here. And I want to also dispel an evil rumor that he's only doing it for the oxtails, grits. That's not true. Although he's become a connoisseur of it, he still stands tall.
Hey, Mark. Licking the fingers and everything.
I see you, Rich.
Yeah, I just want to add on also, to Jim's credit and his courage, he also has family members that are still in law enforcement.
Yes.
For those of us that are here that have family members that are still in law enforcement, they're taking a certain amount of flack or looked a certain way because as their father, he's part of this group advocating for what's right. Well, the bottom line is we're all different, but we're all like-minded here. We have differences of opinions, but we're like-minded when it comes down to what really matters. Doing things the right way, the equitable policing, being against racism. We see how this world is, and we're all speaking the same language, no matter what color, our background, race, sex. We're all saying the same things. We want the same things. This group was built to bridge the gap between the communities and law enforcement, get an understanding going. That's what we're all about. Bridging that gap, having the understanding. That's what we do. And the color doesn't matter. Who you love doesn't matter. All those factors don't matter. What we're talking about matters, bridging that gap. And I say hats off to Jim and his family members that are still in law enforcement, and having to deal with us doing the right thing here. So hats off to you, Jim. Thank you.
Absolutely. D.
All right. This is from the Token Trooper on the I had an opportunity to meet all of you guys, most of you guys. I didn't know you personally, but year before last, we got to meet personally. And Marcus, you might understand this game recognized game. All right. And I kind of use this group the way I did when I worked. And anybody will know the time we had when I was there with Jim and his wife and Mark and Jerry. And I'm just looking around the room. Rich, you wasn't there. You got to get there. Will, I want to see you this year. I understand once you become a part of this group, Marcus, so you understand the way game recognized game, you got to go through each one of us before you get to Jim. And I'm starting. I'm going to start. Because Donald said he played with me. Ty played with me. I'm going to be the first one. You got to go through us to get to Jim, because Jim is one of the major parts of this crew.
Heart and soul.
Because his perspective, not just in who he is, the dynasty his family is. When Jim talks, I sit down and listen. When Jim laughs, I want to find out what's funny, because he's that big a part of this group. Now, let me say something to you, Marcus. It just hit me right before I started to speak. You need a place to work out some of your stuff.
Yeah.
And you found it. You found it. Yeah, you want to work out some of your personal stuff. You found it. But where it's going to stop at personal attacks. There's no place for that when I'm in the room. Okay? If Don is, what are you, Don? What are you, 6'19", 6'8", 6'12"?
Yeah.
You got to
I
go
just wanna
through me to get to Don. I'm just
Yeah.
telling you the way it is. I'm gonna take your legs out from under you. You can get to Don, and I'm talking metaphorically, but also physically, because that's how we do things. No personal attacks. We have arguments, disagreements. I don't agree with what this one says or that one says, but there's no need for personal attacks. You're telling on yourself when you're introduced to personal attacks.
Small-minded.
I missed that. Thank you, Jerry. I missed that comment too. And what I want you to be careful with, because you want to be we think the chat is a part of our group. Am I wrong? You're a part of our group. We check each other, so we're gonna have to check you. I'm just saying, we gonna check each other. Everybody here. I love what everybody got a sound effect. Even you, Marcus.
Marcus, darling.
Okay, even you. You got one too. But it's got to stop at personal attacks.
Don't do that.
That's not what we do. Okay. And I don't know how old you are. How old is he, Donna? That's your
No, that's Rich friend.
Okay. I don't know how old you are, but I'm a baby boomer.
Look at Rich scratching his head.
I'm a baby boomer that was born in the 60s.
I think he's over 6 years old.
Okay.
I think he's over 6.
You know, sometimes when you're in certain rooms, you got to watch your mouth. I know these young kids don't understand that. If you was 34, I'm gonna give you one. But I'm old school. Brooklyn, New York, Bed-Stuy, Fulton between Troy and Schenectady. That's where I live. You gotta watch your mouth sometimes. And what you can't do is go after one of the people in the room, because what's going to happen is then you got all of us. That's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen. And I know you say, bring it, you in the chat, you in the no. I'm gonna be clear. We're gonna deal with you in the chat, but I don't like the disrespect on any level. There's no need to disrespect any human beings. There's just not. We can talk, we can joke. We laugh. We're gonna laugh and joke in a couple of weeks. And you know, we're gonna laugh and joke about each other, and Mark will be eating crabs, and it's just what we do. But we gotta, let's not get personal. Let's keep it respectful. Let's keep it gentlemanly. Let's keep it decent, because then we can have a discussion. We can't have a decent discussion if we're gonna do personal attacks. That's kind of childish. That's all I want to say.
But guess what? Guess what he said up in the text? He says Jim's the only one who didn't object.
He doesn't have to.
Let me come down from a biblical stance. A witness never bears witness of himself. Try to think about what that means. As a pastor, I shouldn't have to stand in the pulpit and tell the congregation that I'm the pastor. They should already know that. Someone else should be able to speak for me. And what we're doing right now, we're speaking for Jim, so Jim doesn't have to speak for himself. Because Jim spoke for himself, it looked like he's bragging. All right, so we're speaking for him. So, Marcus, this is my last warning to you, and I'm serious this time. Any more disrespect that comes from you, you will be blocked from this page. Then you can do what you want to do after that, but you will be blocked. Any more disrespect, I don't care how you try to fix it up, or you have a lot of vernacular that you won't like, that we won't like. Okay, that's fine. You don't want to come here every week. You don't have to come here. You can go someplace else. We don't want to. We're not trying to do that. We're trying to open it up to even people who disagree with us. But you could disagree with us without being disrespectful.
Exactly. That part. And Rev, to touch on that, and it's probably a lot of you, it's going to cycle right in your head. You were mentioning about other people speaking on your behalf as to who you are, your character, what you do. As the song go, the gospel song go, let the work I've done speak for me.
That's right.
That's why when you come for one of us, they don't have to defend themselves. That's why we a crew. That's why we family. Mark.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe Rich does. How long has Marcus been watching us?
Oh, wow.
Well, this is what he says. He says, all of you have been judging me from day one. I was there. Where were you? I don't know what that means. Then he says, nonsense. He says, you're warning me. You've had years to block me. Shoot your shot. There we go. Listen, you better listen. You would have been gone a long time ago, but I felt that you should stay. But I was always told to block you. But I was told, but I said, no, I want him to stay. Because I don't want to look like a little kid in this little group talking about, oh, he talking about us and block. He talking about us block. No, I don't like to do that things that way. But you got it. You got it. Let me see how I can fix this one up and work this out.
Well, I just wanted to say, if he's been with us since the beginning, then he should know that Jim was not the only white person in it. But our group should acknowledge that Jim was the only one that stayed for whatever reasons.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So that doesn't make him a token at all. That, like I said, that makes him a diamond because he done been through the fire. He done
all of us.
And it's not like he just shows up for the Zooms and doesn't interact with us. He's always there for us. And even when we were in the department, me and Donald know, he was there for us back then. He was the boss before Donald was, and he was instrumental in guiding us to study and become better. So he's been in the fight long before. And as far as this Zoom goes, we crack on each other, and I don't have Facebook. Otherwise, I don't know if you ever say anything about me, but we would go toe to toe. I tell you that right now.
Oh yeah.
But and I'll check you. But I'll tell you this. When it comes to this Zoom, we're really looking to inform the public. We will entertain sometimes. I'm the big jokester sometimes, and I'll slip in my jokes. But we're really here for the focus of enlightening our audience and maybe saving a life. Okay. And it's okay if your goal is to just be Boo-Boo the Clown, then do that somewhere else. No offense, but if you want to come on here and really ask good questions and get information and maybe help the next person, then that's cool. But if you just looking to become a martyr, that's the direction you're headed. And you're going to be a useless martyr. I'm done.
So y'all, we are at 4:23.
Yeah.
And we obviously had to take a little bit of a detour because we had to take care of some housekeeping matters. But to put a bow on this, if this, Marcus, is your platform to try to get a rise out of somebody, and you've been doing this all these many years, and you've been extended a tremendous amount of grace from this panel, it's about to run out. It's about to run out because it's not constructive, it's not productive, and we're not going to let it carry us away from what our mission is here. So hope you got stuff recorded. You can go back and look at all the stuff and enjoy it. Just like you said, you guys are too easy. No, Marcus, we just understand people. So it's been nice knowing you, my brother.
I don't even know if you heard that. I just pushed the block button.
D, what you got to carry us out, man?
All right, I got a quick I'm not even really sure what this is, but let's take a look at this video. I liked it when I downloaded it.
Best cop ever.
Ruben, come talk to me. Nah, I'm just saying, I ain't going no jail, bro.
Ruben, come talk to
me. We can talk from a distance, bro. We can talk from a distance, bro. We can talk because they lying on me, bro.
I ain't even worried about that.
Listen, man, I ain't going to no handcuffs, bro. I'm not going to no handcuffs, bro.
Ruben.
I'm not going to no handcuffs, bro.
Come on.
Because they lying.
Come here.
Listen to me, bro.
Come here and talk to me.
Talk to me.
Have I not talked to you out there?
Okay, but you walking up on me now. But you want walking up on me like that.
In what kind of way? Not
you
in
walking
kind of
up on me
way.
like you want to put your hands on me and try to get me in that car.
If I put my hands on you, I'm gonna put my hands on you. Now I don't play around with that, dog.
Listen, dog.
I don't play with that.
Listen, look, I don't play with that. Listen, what I'm telling you, bro.
I got you.
How you feel about your daughter? How you feel?
I defended my dad just like. Come here.
Come here, man. I love my daughter, bro. I love my daughter, bro.
Come and talk to me.
I swear, mama, I hate y'all because y'all love, bro. Y'all gonna let my daughter do that fuck ass shit, man. That's crazy, bro.
No.
That's crazy.
Look, come here.
That's crazy,
come
man.
Here.
That's crazy.
Come here and talk to me.
Crazy, man. My daughter, man.
Come here and talk to me.
Parents and leaders at the Atlanta Drum Academy say they were shocked when
that's something a lot of people don't understand.
Mental meltdown.
That's a situation where everything your training says you don't close distance unless you actually get ready to put hands on them. But that's what folks don't understand. The level of compassion that we have to display in this job and the level of discernment, just like anybody else, sometimes somebody needs to be heard and need a hug. And unfortunately, more often than not, we're the ones responding in that moment of crisis. Is that a risk we take, bringing somebody in that close and we're not actively trying to get them physically under control? It sure is. It sure is. But that speaks to the capacity and the empathy that we have for the people that we serve. D, what you got?
I just want to say really quickly, we always see the other side of it. When somebody's closing distance, there's some weapons involved, somebody gets hurt, there's a fight, it's always aggressive. I'm here to tell you, we talk about 95.9% of the time. I was thinking about this the other day. That was the job. I put my hands like that on many of people and kids and picking up children and hugging people in the worst time of their life. That was the job. That was most of the job. I mean, I remembered a few times where it got a little aggressive and violent, but I can give you 10 times as many, 100 times as many instances where I see what you're drinking, Mark. I bought somebody a drink. I bought somebody lunch. I gave somebody a ride somewhere. I changed a tire. I put the kid, I was very angry and upset, the woman thought, but the kid wasn't in the seatbelt, and that bothered me because I saw one go through the windshield. And she was like, he's so aggressive. You don't understand. When I see that kid without a seatbelt, I see a broken window, I see him on the roadway, and I say to myself, what I should have done. Why couldn't I be a half a mile down the block? That's what I live with. And I just want people to understand, we at this roll call talk about some of the bad things. That's what we have to deal with. But man, there's so much good. I mean, I wanted to have a show. I thought about this. Can everybody get, if I went around the room right now, everybody could give 100 examples of buying somebody dinner, going by the house on my way home from work, checking on somebody, Christmas presents because they didn't have none, because they got, never even thought about the cost till this day. Or didn't that, I don't even know. Or just do it. Fix it. Get it right. Are they okay for tonight? That's all I'm worried about, my tonight. So because we have a lot of people looking, and we do get some aggressive in our talk. This police service was more of that than this. And people don't really understand that. More of that than this. More hands-on, more hugs, more buying dinners and lunches and going to the school and you know. I'm sorry, you can't hear me?
No, I was doing it just listening because so many people just want somebody to take the time to listen to them and be heard.
Right.
And to see them.
Yes. And even for a child, how many times have you crouched down to get down to their level to talk to them, to relate to them? I mean, that just goes, how far does that go? You know, and their development and understanding what we're doing as law enforcement to protect them and understand them, you know, and we do it naturally.
Man, we rode around with teddy bears and juice boxes and just if bicycles. Put that in the car. Put that in the car. I'm gonna need it. Put it in the car. Because, you know, we tried to keep it as good as possible for as long as possible. I'm sorry.
No worries, Mark.
Yeah, D makes a great point. When I first got on the job, one of the things I got a compliment from a few people just going to burglary calls. One was a residential, the other was a commercial. And, I went there and I walked around with the owner. Instead of just coming in, taking a report, say, call your insurance company and walking out the door. I went through the whole house or I went through the whole building. I told the guy, hey, put a motion up here, do this, do that. And not really thinking anything of it. It was just, something that I saw that, hey, this could help you. And hopefully you won't call us back because it'll be a more secure building or residence. And lo and behold, they call the chief talking about, I really appreciate the officer. He came, he took time to do this and do that. And it was something that I had no expectations of getting appreciated, but that was more appreciated than if I just walked in, took a report, and I talk about a certain police department that's very close to where I live. They don't even come in the house. They'll come, they'll take the information, they'll go back to the car, they'll fill out the report and they hand it to you and they drive away. How cold of a police department? I had a time where I got burglarized. They came in, the guy acted like I did it myself. And I was just like so disheartened. I've had about, if I've had to deal with this police department 20 times, I've only had one time where I was satisfied with the interaction. So we go through it too. But it's important that, and any young officer that's out there, it's important that when you do your job, treat it like that's your mother or your father. And you'll make more friends than enemies.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, our time is tight. I want to thank our listeners, our watchers, and especially our panel of family. Those that are out there listening and watching, we include you in family. We even include Marcus in family, but he's one of those ones we got to pull out that long handle spoon. So, but closing it out, Donald Coleman says, Mark, you and Troy helped me fix my wife's car. So it's the sort of stuff people don't forget. And it don't cost you nothing to be kind and considerate and aware when someone is going through their crisis.
That's right.
And that's us on duty, off duty. Rev, you got something to carry us out?
Yeah, thank you to Facebook Live, those who are on YouTube. Thank you so much for listening to us today. We took it a little bit off course a little, but we had to because like Will says, some house rules. Listen, we're not dictators. We're not the law itself. We just tell you what we know from our experience. But more than that, we tell you what we feel about each other. And if you start getting in the way of that, you're severing this relationship. You're doing that. We're not doing it. I've done all I could do, and even Marcus said you had the chance to do this for years. You haven't done it. He's right. He's right. I wouldn't do it. I was told by the panel to do it a long time ago. I said, no. I was told a long time ago to do it. I'm not going to tell you about who in particular, but one person in particular was like, no, get rid of him now. I didn't do it. And that person jokes with me all the time. I told you a long time to do it. You didn't do it. So person messes with me with that. It comes with the territory too. But listen, for those of you who are respectful, and even if you don't agree, don't think that we want you to agree with us. That's not what we want. We do want you to agree with us, but we're not mad when you don't agree with us. So if you have an opinion, share your opinion. But please be respectful. Just respect other people because we disagree with each other. And we go at each other, but we still respect each other. And that's all I can really ask for. But right now I just want to say thank you so much for putting up with us for 5 years. Many of you have been with us for 5 years, and we say thank you. We appreciate it. And God bless you. To those on the panel, again, thank you. I'll say a little bit more when we get off, but thank you so much to those on the panel and those who are not here right now, because the same thing goes for them as well. Let us pray. God, our Father, we thank you. We praise you. We thank you for those on Facebook Live. We thank you, dear God, for even Marcus Diggs. And Lord God, you know I had to do something today that I know you probably wouldn't have done, but we had to do it just to keep peace and unity on the air. So I ask that God, you'll bless all of us collectively and individual. Continue to bless Mark Matthews, who's going through and even going through with an injury. Isabel, we ask you to continue to bless her. We ask you to bless Dave. We ask you to bless my mother-in-law. We ask you to bless anybody and everybody that's going through something. We thank you now. We praise you now. We thank you to God that even on tomorrow we'll celebrate the 4th of July. It means more to others than it means to others. It means more to some than it means to others. But we thank you for allowing this United States to exist and for us to have the freedoms that we do have. We thank you. We bless your name. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Happy birthday, Kennard.